Hi there, and welcome to the C-10 podcast, where we mainly talk about leadership and mentoring in 10 questions with changemakers, mostly with ties to the Kansas City area. This is all part of the C of the Major Leagues Foundation, and specifically a tie-in to our C-10 mentoring and leadership program. I'm Matt Folks, Executive Director of C of the Major Leagues, and usual host of this podcast. I'm honored that you've chosen to listen this week. Thank you so much. Now, let's get into this week's conversation. This is episode 152 of the C-10 podcast, and this week we have a special treat for you as you hear from the three seniors from the C-10 Mentoring and Leadership Program, John Wilson IV, Topher Rauth, and Norman Davis Jr. Before we get to them, though, two quick words of appreciation. Well, more than two quick words, I suppose. As we record this, last Thursday, May 23rd, was our third annual See You at Topgolf fundraiser to give students mentoring and scholarship opportunities through the C-10 program. If you were there or bought an auction item, that type of thing, thank you. You crushed it. We raised nearly $110,000. That's going to make a huge impact on high school and college-age students in the Kansas City community. The other shout-out goes to University of Kansas professor Alex Treaster and his senior-level campaigns class that recently took on C in the Major Leagues as a client. Their students, grouped into 5 teams, looked at different aspects of the foundation and offered advice, suggestions, critiques, and so on. It was an awesome experience and exercise. But through that, we sent out a survey to our donors. One of them, who was anonymous, basically wrote that we need to highlight the students in C-10 more often. Well, anonymous, if you are listening this week, you're going to like this episode as we feature the 3 seniors from the C-10 Mentoring and Leadership Program, John Wilson IV, Topher Rauth, and Norman Davis Jr. This is an annual session we do where we invite next year's students, and then we interview the seniors to talk about their C-10 experience. This year, Max Utsler, who's been a guest host here before, and is the chair of our C-10 Curriculum Committee, leads this discussion, which was recorded in front of our students and mentors at Operation Breakthrough in mid-May. I'll come on between the interviews to introduce each senior. And we start with John Wilson IV, who graduated from Lincoln College Preparatory Academy and got his associate's degree from Metropolitan Community College. He's headed to North Carolina A&T this fall to study cybersecurity. He had 2 mentors during his 3 years in C-10, Steve Perez, who had to move to another city for work toward the end of John's first year, and then Alan Epps took over as JW's mentor. Here's Max Utsler with John Wilson IV.
For 3 years now, you've been hearing all of our guest speakers and with Matt interviewing them. So have you anticipated what my first question is going to be?
Probably like, who was my favorite speaker?
No. We'll get around to that.
Okay.
No, in the true tradition of Matt Folks, the first question here is, again, you've been here 3 years now. What was that 13 or 14-year-old JW like?
Voice was a little bit higher, so say that. I still sounded like a little wimpy little kid, but other than that, definitely was learning a lot. Going through COVID, during that time I had just got off an injury kind of. So I was kind of going through that a lot. I had strained my hip flexor. So I was kind of going through a lot, like when COVID kind of first started and everything like that. I was going through that over the summer. And, I was an only child. So being an only child at home, just with your parents, like I'm not complaining, but, obviously you get to spend a lot more time with your parents, but, you couldn't really see everybody like how you wanted to. So it was definitely challenging. But I will say that, I definitely grew throughout of it. Got to binge watch a lot of shows. I'll say that. Finished a lot of series that I wanted to finish, but so.
And how have you grown in the 3 years since then?
Well, I will say for one, I think the one thing that has slowly gotten better was my communication. That was probably something that I really struggled with at the beginning. Something I'm getting better at, something I still need to work on, of course, but just try to get better, every day with, about to go into college, I'm not going to have everyone, on my back saying, JW, go do this, go do that, go do this. So it's something that, something I just need to work on a lot. And, probably say the other thing I probably grew up a lot in was just being an understanding person, I think overall, I can be understanding from time to time, but there were some situations where it was really hard for me to, kind of grasp. But sometimes, you had to look from, the outside looking in, sometimes you had to be sympathetic, be in other people's shoes and just try to understand how they're going, what they're going through and just being there for people.
Were you one of those guys that in the interview for a position here, that when Tom Daly asked you one of your weaknesses, did you mention you didn't like to talk in front of people?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't remember you.
Yeah.
That's what surprised me about the communication. I don't remember you being.
Communication is more just like, emails, text messages, stuff like that. So,
Oh,
yeah.
yes. I do remember us talking about that a few times.
Yeah.
So that's good. So what has been the biggest challenge of working your way through the last 3 years, not just with C-10, but with school?
Well, obviously, like I talked about, COVID, that was probably one of the hardest things. Especially, at Lincoln, we had a lot of in and out kind of deals. Like we were in the school either, or we were out of school. We were on the computers. So, and like I said, being an only child was very challenging for me, only because, I went from my old school to a brand new school that I didn't really have any friends, going from freshman year, sophomore year. So it was very hard to really get to know everybody because, I remember it was March 18th, I think, and it was March 18th, and it was just like, something like that. And, I remember it was during a practice, and it was kind of funny because that last practice, that's when I got hurt. It was that week. It was a week before our first meet, and I got hurt. And, I was just like, dang, I'm not gonna be able to run in my first meet. And then I remember maybe like a day or two later, they were just like, we're out for 2 weeks. Everybody was just like, oh, okay, shoot, let's go. But then, 2 weeks hit 3 weeks, 3 weeks hit a month hit 2 months. So now we're on shutdown. So that was probably very challenging for me. And then the other thing, I'm a early college academy student. So tomorrow I'll graduate my associate's degree. But through that though, it was very hard making that transition from high school to now I'm all by myself at college, right? I only had my cohort of students, who, I had to get to know them. And I had to these are people who I had barely had talked to, but, had to talk about, what assignments we had to do, what we had to do with, throughout the year, throughout the class. And, it was just overall, just those are two major things that was probably really struggling for me.
So that would have been difficult even without COVID.
Yeah.
COVID made it more difficult.
Yeah. COVID really, like I said, COVID, and no one really expected it. We're having those first, it kind of went by so fast. So, it's just like yesterday, I was just a freshman in high school, so, I kind of looked back and I was like, man, I'm looking back through my pictures like yesterday and I was like, dang, this was just me not that long ago. It just kind of rolls on you just real quick.
Are there any things that were part of C-10 that you think may have helped you get through that time and get you to where you are today?
Oh yeah. I would say just overall, I started out with Mr. Steve before I met Mr. Allen, my mentor now. But I started with Mr. Steve and, just going through, a lot of times, when you talk to your parents, there are some things that, you may or may not feel comfortable talking to because, you think that they may have a bias on you. And so just having that mentor, even Mr. Allen now, there are some things where if I could talk to Mr. Allen about most things that I may want to talk to my mom about, but I would be like, oh, I don't know if I do, what is she going to say? But, if I'm with Mr. Allen, he's going to give me, he's like that third parent. You know what I mean? It's an unbiased opinion. He's just going to tell, your mentor is just going to tell you, through their life experience, not just through, they weren't there all your life. They're just here for these 4 years and even after that. But just having that, that extra guidance to help you go through life just in general. Me and Mr. Allen, we've had little lunch breaks, breakfast stuff. He comes to different things. I'll go to different things with him. He helped me with my car radio. That was, just you get like little bonding experiences like that. Just overall, you get more than just friends and people that you meet through C10. You get a person that you have a connection for life with. You know what I mean? You get to see what they do in their life, but then they also get to see what they do in yours. So you kind of have, like I said, it's like that extra parent who can just kind of guide you what you need to go do and, push you in the right direction.
Has that experience motivated you to one day become a mentor, or maybe
yes.
Are you already doing that?
Yeah, I mean, just like me being on the baseball team and me doing different athletics, I get to mentor some of the guys. Today was my last game. Sadly, we lost 3-1. But just within that, though, I got to see the people who were maybe not as good, come up to me like, J-Dub, like, I really appreciate everything that you did. And even though I was hurt, but even though I was hurt for the first 2 months, I was going to basically every game telling my team like, hey, look, even if I'm hurt or even whatever I'm doing, you guys are not even the future. You are our present. We can't even say future anymore because that's now. Like, they're about to go, and what they're going to put on a legacy for 2024. So I kind of hold everyone accountable to the same standard. I'm not going to treat someone at the same class as me like any different than if you're younger than me. You're going to go out there, you're going to play the game that you need to go play and just do what you need to go do. Cause at the end of the day, just like district, state, there's only one winner, right? You only have one. So you just got to do your job, be on your P's and Q's. And it's just a mental game, I try to tell everyone, just stay out your head. It's just as easy as that says to say, that's the hardest game that's the hardest game like now. We go through a lot of things. I know a lot of people probably in here probably went through COVID a lot, in terms of, maybe family, friends, anything it may have been. And that was a really hard mental game for a lot of people. So, just being there for people is probably just the most important thing. And that's the great thing about C10. You just have everyone here, whether that be Mr. Matt, Miss Libby, just anybody just here who, if you need anything in a heartbeat, they will answer for you. I've texted Kramer saying at 11:30 at night saying, hey, look, I need this, I need that. And she gets it done. Or it might be, hey, she might like text you, be like, hey, did you get this done? Did you get this done? But they're always going to be there for you, no matter what. So to all the incoming students, don't be scared to ask for help.
You just segued into my final question.
Oh, okay, my bad.
No, that's good. What other advice do you have for the new students coming in?
Oh, I mean, I could probably sit up here for another 10, 15 minutes about that.
I'm sorry, we don't have that.
But the overall lesson for everyone is just don't be scared to ask for help. I like to say a lot, iron sharpens iron, right? And everyone in here, they're not going to hold you back. If they see like what you put in is what you're going to get out. That's anything that you do, whether that be you put in a bunch of time in scholarships, whether you're doing all that hard work at home on homework, if you put in all that hard work, everyone around you is going to see it. And sometimes it may feel like, no one's looking at you, but we talk about integrity, right? You're doing the right thing even when no one's looking. So, a lot of times it's going to be hard. You're going to go through high school. You're going to go through whatever you're going to go through, whether it be sports, family, friends. But at the end of the day, if you need somebody from C10, even people who've graduated from C10 or, past C10, there are still people that you can talk to this day. If you need help with anything, like I know I can come to Carson about anything. I met him through this. I know I can come to most of these people in here. It's just a family at the end of the day. So, and that's something that I really appreciate that they really focus on. This is a family. So don't be scared to ask, don't be scared to say something. If you need help, if you're going through something mentally, they will connect you to the right people. It doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter what time of the day. Shoot, it might be 2 a.m. in the morning. Someone might answer. You never know. So
thank you much, JW.
This is J.R. Buckner, President and CEO of First Federal Bank of Kansas City. We hope you're enjoying this week's conversation. For this week's Student Spotlight, I'd like you to meet one of the students in our C10 Mentoring and Leadership Program.
My name is Taryn Lester, and I go to Raytown South. And C10 is making an impact on my life by improving my communication skills and making me more able to speak in front of groups of people.
First Federal Bank of Kansas City is proud to make a donation this week to the Post-High School Scholarship Fund for seniors in the C10 Mentoring and Leadership Program. If you'd like to join us in this effort to give our future leaders an opportunity after high school, please click on the link in the show's notes. Now back to this week's conversation.
Up next is Topher Rauth, who's a second-generation C-10 student. His brother Jameson graduated from C-10 in 2022. Like John Wilson, Topher graduated from Lincoln Prep. He's attending Kansas State University in the fall, where he wants to study education and history to one day become a high school history teacher. Topher's mentor in C-10 for the past 3 years has been Sam Jones. Once again, here's Max Utsler with Topher Rauth.
Okay, I tipped off what the first question is going to be. What was that 13 or 14-year-old Topher like?
He wasn't himself. I would say that. At that point, I was probably, I want to say like in 8th grade, my freshman year. And K through 8th grade, I went to the same school, very, very small Christian school. And we had a graduating class of 20, so very, very small. We had all grown up together. But at that point, a lot of those kids, I didn't really connect with them anymore. But I still wanted to be included in things. I still wanted to act like I was their friend. And so I wasn't myself. And so for a long time, I was lost. John mentioned COVID. COVID sucked for me because I'm a social person. I like to be around people. That's kind of where I get my energy. But it also was really great for me in terms of reflection, in terms of who do I want to be in high school. And that's why I was so grateful to go to a different high school, to Lincoln, because no one knew me. I could make myself new again. In a sense, you get to do that in college. You get to do that at a new place that you work. You take the good of what has worked and you try to move on from the bad. And so he didn't tell a lot of people, but he wasn't himself. He wasn't comfortable with who he was and who he was presenting.
Did you make a conscious change to do something different, or did it just happen?
Definitely a conscious change. For me, it's just, I would say just a lot of the things that my friends chose to joke about, I felt like I was above that maturity level, but I still participated in things and said rude things to people behind their back I wasn't proud of, because that's what my friends were doing and I just wanted to fit in. And I would say my advice to everyone else is that don't do that. It's hard to hear and it's hard to do in the moment, but even if you just remove yourself from the situation, if they're truly your friends, then you can tell them, hey, that joke that you made about that person, that made me really uncomfortable, or that was just straight up rude.
Actually, it sounds like you've taken Mike Sweeney's advice for you new students who never had a chance to hear Mike Sweeney's group. He left us with one great thought that you should carry on. Change your friends or change your friends. I wish I would have learned that 50 years ago or 70 years ago. That would have been a helpful thing there. What kind of role did C-10 play in helping you find the new Topher?
I mean, a huge one. I call one of my best friends, Alyssa Harris, my best friends that I met her through C-10. And in terms of finding that new person, I didn't join C-10 until my sophomore year. So I feel like I had a pretty firm foundation of who I wanted to be. But in terms of leadership skills and stepping up to the plate, I definitely saw an increase just of me just doing it because of C-10, of me knowing that if I wanted to lead this project, that I could go to someone for help, and that you don't have to have it all figured out. And that is something I definitely have learned at C-10, and that you can enjoy the little moments, and life, especially life moves really fast, and to have a concrete thing like C-10 every Wednesday night where you have people you can go to, and just like Sam, my mentor, I can go to him and just be like, man, I am, a lot of times this year I was really just frustrated with myself, and I just went and told him that. He was the one person that I told, but I was like, hey man, I just need to get this off my chest. I'm really frustrated, and I just went to him for help. What helps you get past writer's block or frustration, especially with scholarships? Talking about myself is something that is still uncomfortable for me. It probably will be for a while.
Were there some specific leadership lessons that you learned along the way?
Conflict resolution. I really enjoyed that night. In terms of public speaking too, everyone says, your voice matters, but I feel like at C-10, your voice does truly matter because they make everyone use their voice, and I've never had a struggle with that, but is Taryn here tonight? Oh, no, that's sad. Oh, she's probably in the junior room. I've seen Taryn grow into her voice so much because of C-10, and that is, I love to see that. I love to see, and she's so intelligent, but you would never know it because she just hides it behind like a face of self-doubt, and just to see her get more of her confidence coming up here because Matt forces her to get outside of her comfort zone, which is a good thing, I think is great.
Do you find yourself on your way to becoming a mentor for other people, or are you already a mentor?
In some ways I have. I have been blessed to be a mentor. There's this freshman at Lincoln. His name's Max. He's kind of a troublemaker. And I
figured.
I noticed a lot of the ways that he acted, and he acted out similar to me, kind of my 8th grade and freshman year. In terms of he had never really gone to people for help, especially mental health, which I really needed at that time, but was too afraid to do. And I waited to my senior year to take a health class, which is required to graduate. And so I got put with him in my class, and I still talk to him weekly about stuff. And everyone has room for improvement, but I've seen him grow into a much more mature person. And it's hard for me because I want to be hard on him, but he's just a freshman. He's got plenty of time. But I've been blessed to have that relationship with him and to be there for him has been a blessing both. At least I know for me it's been a huge one.
And what advice do you have for the new students coming in?
Don't be afraid to talk to everyone. I feel like I really, especially my first year, I limited myself to the couple people I knew and the couple people that my brother knew. Say talk to everyone. I mean, I stopped being an athlete my sophomore year, and so I didn't really sit with a lot of the athletes, and I wish I would have done that more, and I wish I would have sat with more of the girls and got to know them because they're really sweet. I just wish I would have sat with more people. Don't get stuck in your ways at C-10. Talk to someone new. Talk to a new adult, I love new perspectives, and I wish I would have gotten more of that here.
Thank you very much, Topher. Very good.
Last but not least is Norman Davis Jr. Like JW, Norman had 2 mentors during his 3 years in C-10. For the first 2 years, it was Andrew Kryling. This past year, after Andrew changed jobs and had to focus on that and a growing family, Lenny Garrett took over as Norman's mentor. Norman graduated from Shawnee Mission North High School. He's undecided on where he's attending this fall, but he hopes to play baseball and start working to become an athletic trainer. Once again, here's Max Utsler with Norman.
Well, the suspense is gone. You know what the first question is. Okay.
Yeah.
What was that 13 or 14-year-old Norman like?
A short, angry kid. A short, angry kid. Just like what Topher and JW said, COVID was a big thing for me. In COVID, I was upset. I get upset easily, during COVID, because I wasn't around people. And having, 2 baby sisters, it was kind of hard just to talk to people because my parents were focused on them too. And really, I just stayed in my room and was just to myself. So that was a big issue of mine.
Did you feel that kind of set you back then from your development in high school?
Yeah, a little bit. Because my freshman year, we did this thing called hybrid. So we went to school for 2 days and it was online for the rest. But when I first got there, I started talking to people. So the anger kind of, went away. Started being more going out there, talking to people. It was just a big thing. And I'm happy that my school was able to do that, because if we just did online, I don't think I'd be the person I am today.
Yeah. So what other ways have you grown since then?
I'm more calm. I'm more trying to think things through before lashing out. Just not trying to go to the negative so fast. I'm just trying to be more positive, talk to people, especially to my parents now too, since my sisters are little, growing up more.
But talking to my parents is a big thing for me now, for me to stay more calm and just being myself.
What role did C-10 play in that, if any?
Oh, C-10 played a big role. Just like being able to talk to everyone here, like everybody's family and friends here at this point. Like I trust everybody here, and trust is a big thing for me. That's a big word for me, but here people like they actually support you through things. I didn't see that till my last 2 years. My first year here, I was, kind of to myself because I didn't know anybody. I just wanted to, be safe, take the safe route. But Andrew, my first 2 years, I had Andrew Kryling. He was my mentor, and now I have Lenny. But them two, they showed me a lot that I can just trust people and I can go out and be able to just talk to people.
What kind of, it's called C-10 mentoring and leadership. How much of that leadership has translated to your life?
A lot. I think I would say I've been a leader to my team this past year, for my senior year. I mean, a lot of young guys, sophomore and juniors, come up to me for advice, and I just think about, all my C-10 sessions, what everybody's saying, what their life been through, and I just try to get some of that game back in my own way possible.
Having the mentors that you've had, how has that influenced you in maybe looking at becoming a mentor yourself someday? Or maybe you already are.
I'm sort of a mentor at my school. Like, my principal always, comes to me and asking me that, like, if I need to, help out a kid that needs help, I'm always the first one he comes to. And I'm glad to do it. With my team, my baseball team, I just try to help them guys out because they're just a young, talented guys that sometimes just need guidance. And what I take from C-10 and my mentors is just that, it's just okay to talk to people because with my young team, they like to keep to themselves, play their own game, which is okay at times, but it's okay to talk to other people.
Do you have a most memorable C-10 moment?
There's a lot. Man, they're all good.
A favorite session, maybe?
Favorite session? I don't know if it's a session, but I'd probably say JW's service project. That meant a lot. Like what his idea was. That struck me.
What advice do you have for our new people coming in?
It's okay to get out your comfort zone. No matter how long it takes you will surely get out your comfort zone, and we'll be able to talk to a lot of people, and it will take you a long way.
Thank you very much, Norman.
Hey, I wanted to come back on here real quick and mention that Norman referenced the impact of JW Service Project. Seniors in the C-10 program plan a service project for the entire group. For John's project, JW's project, people donated suitcases and toiletries to go to students in the foster care system. We added some clothes and some other items, some notes, those types of things. It made an impact on a lot of students and adults in C-10. Well, that's going to do it for episode 152 of the C-10 podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, we hope you'll leave a favorable review or just give it a thumbs up on your favorite podcast platform. Until next time, for guest host Max Utsler and our three seniors, JW, Topher, and Norman, this is Matt Folk saying be safe and take care.